Good afternoon. My name is Jace, Dery, and these are my business associates, Renay-Lopes and Ethan Aguilar. Today, you will be assuming the role of a member of the executive chair for Shepard Insurance, and today we will be assuming the role of an outside company looking in, analyzing the online brand presence and overall reputation of the company. Now, two things my grandfather had always instilled in me when I was younger was to always give back to the community because they gave so much to you, as well as treat everyone you know like family. Those two values that my grandfather had instilled in me are two values that Shepard Insurance embodies so well and are the backbone to their success. So what is Shepard Insurance? Shepard Insurance was founded on August 17, 1977 in a classic startup family business story. Dave Shepard, along with his father, William Bill Shepard, founded this business in the basement of their home, and within 5 years later, they were able to have a sufficient office space with around 50 employees. And as the years went on, around 5 years later, they began merging with other insurance companies and expanding their business to all across the Midwest to states such as Illinois and Kentucky. And around 10 years later, as their business grew, their staff began to grow even more and began to expand to other states down south, like Florida.
So as you can see on the first page of your Flipbook, I will be going more in depth of all the research methods that we chose to use. Starting off with surveys. Surveys are good because it is primary research. It's the most accurate, recent, and relevant information. And we are using this to gather accurate data from the customer's point of view as to what they think needs to be done with the company. Moving on to interviews. We interviewed the founder and CEO, Dave Shepard, to really get a point of view from what's going on from the highest up level of management possible and really get all that information out of him that isn't out for the general public so that we could help them to our best potential. And focus groups are next, and those are important because those will allow us to really pick which specific plan we have and implement it, which one would be best for Shepard Insurance. And qualitative research, this just helps us get a broad overview of the entire company from an employee perspective. And this is very important because employees are pouring their effort, time, and energy into this company. And if they think something is wrong, then we know it definitely needs to get fixed as soon as possible. And qualitative research, this just helps us analyze the numbers of the business, or how they're doing financially, and how we can help them out with their budget, which we'll touch on later.
So diving more into the positives and negatives of Shepard Insurance, we have three main positives that we found on here. We found that they're a very family-valued organization. They want to make sure that every customer is feeling like they're a part of the Shepard Insurance family. We have very strong positioning of ads throughout the placement of Shepard Insurance and how they're analyzing it. And it really shows that Shepard Insurance is strategically placing the advertisements where they need to be. Along with that, shows some negatives throughout our research. We found that they have a very strong lack of social media presence. They're not super popular online. They're not doing a ton online. They're not resolving the customer complaints in an efficient manner. They're not doing what they need to do quickly to resolve the customer complaints. They're leaving them kind of just open for them to just assume that it's resolved. Along with that, there's a lot of gender diversity in the workplace. Many people are saying that Shepard Insurance is a boys' club on past employee reviews, and it's kind of led to one of the big negatives of Shepard Insurance just during our research. That's what we figured out.
As far as our rankings go before our help, we're going to give them a 5 out of 10 because we found that they really do help their short-term customers very well. And some of their employees get treated very well, but there's also a good portion of employees and long-term customers that do not get treated very well. So for their overall reputation, they'll be receiving a 5 out of 10. And as far as their online brand presence goes, it's just awful. They don't use any social media, rarely any advertisements online. And with today's society moving forward, moving more into technology, they really need to step that up.
If you would look at the SWOT analysis that you have on the Flipbook right there, it shows SWOT analysis shows strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of Shepard Insurance. These specifically in the strengths, it shows that they have a strong local reputation. They were, as Jay said, they were founded in Carmel, Indiana. They're going to do a lot of their sponsorships and opportunities throughout Carmel, Indiana, just because that's their home base. Some of the weaknesses, they have the limited social media use. They're not as popular on social media because they're not doing as much on social media that they can. But with the weaknesses, it shows several opportunities for Shepard Insurance. They've acquired 15 different agencies along their time of being around for 45 years. They write about 50 million premiums annually to their customers along base across all 50 states of the United States. All these opportunities also come with some threats because they have lots of competition from just big dogs like Geico, Progressive, Allstate. Those are the big insurance agencies that many customers are looking at specifically and not looking so much at Shepard Insurance at all.
So if you turn to the next slide in your flipbook, you'll get a holistic review of the 4 determined problems that we analyzed throughout our research, but during our presentation we'll dive deeper into each one specifically. So the first problem we want to attack is the lack of social media, and in some cases, not even any social media. Their website is their only main media outlet, and it just shows what is going on throughout the web on the website, not really in detail. They're missing that direct customer connection from the employee to the customer, as well as they're missing out on a huge demographic around the ages of 13 to 23, because they are starting to get insurance as they're making that transition into adulthood. So how we plan to fix that is with these 5 main social media groups. With Facebook, we'd like to create customer groups so the customers can interact with each other, as well as have that direct customer connection with the employee. With our Snapchat, we want to create geo-filters, so whenever there's Shepard Insurance, or whenever people are around Shepard Insurance, as they are very active in the community, they can promote it on their Snapchat pages to say that they are involved with Shepard Insurance and really attack that age 13 to 23 demographic. Along with Instagram, it will allow Shepard Insurance to have another social media page to show what they're doing out in the community as a cause marketing campaign, as well as show what is going on in their offices. With Twitter, that's another page that we'd like to use for that age 13 to 23 demographic, so they're able to connect with Shepard Insurance, as well as LinkedIn, so Shepard Insurance can continue to remain that professionalism, that sense of professionalism that they have.
The second one of our problems we think is the customer connections. As I said before, they're not really trying to resolve the customer complaints in an efficient manner. They're leaving them kind of out in the open, not looking to make the resolution that they need in order to keep Shepard Insurance reputation high like they would like it to be. So when you look at this slide right here, you see a ton of company reviews. They're not just from the customers, they're also from the employees. As we talked about before, several people think that Shepard Insurance is a boys club, and you can see that right in the bottom left corner of the bottom left corner review right there. It says Shepard Insurance is a boys club. It also says legacy management in upper management as well, which shows that the long-term customers are not feeling like they're being treated as well as they should after being there for 15, 20, 25 years. These come with a few solutions to that. We want to implement surveys, the customer connection agencies. We want to do a toll-free call line, and we want to do an online seminar. All of these will be implemented so that the customer can put in their input so that Shepard Insurance can build off that and make the customer connections better for the future. Like the surveys will be used so that the customer, after they've had service from Shepard Insurance, they can write, I think that they need to do this better or this better, and rate it like that, which really helps bring in and implement the whole Shepard Insurance thing about building on the customers and making sure that they're feeling like their opinions actually matter.
So moving on to the third problem is long-term customer relationships, and I actually have a personal connection to this problem. My grandfather was a customer of Shepard Insurance for about 15 years. When I asked him what he thought about the company, he said he left angrily because he wasn't being treated as priority. He had been there for a very long time, was never receiving any rewards. He just felt like he was just sending them a check every month. So what we are going to do about this problem to help fix it, starting off with company reviews. Anytime a customer leaves a bad review of the company, we will have an agent personally reach out to them, have a one-on-one conversation to find out what happened, apologize for it, and offer them any discounts or rewards or anything to help them bring them back to the Shepard Insurance family. Speaking of families, we're going to preach to every single one of your employees that Shepard Insurance family is not just the employees, it's all the customers. You need to treat everyone that you're selling insurance to as if they were selling insurance to your brother or parents or daughters, things like that. And last but not least, we have incentives. Anything such as stay with us for X amount of years, we'll offer you a 10% discount on deductibles, or an interesting program that they could implement is, let's say you've been with us for 15 plus years, first time you get into a car accident after that checkpoint, your claims or premiums won't increase for that one time. So that really helps them feel that their Shepard Insurance has their back, and then that'll also really help the word of mouth advertising.
So the last problem we wanted to analyze was the lack of retirement personnel. When sitting down with CEO Dave Shepard, he only mentioned that there's around 3 to 4 people in the retirement personnel, which is a huge problem considering the fact that as time goes on, people in that age group of retirement that are considered retired people need more insurance as they are transitioning into that different point of life. There is a huge lack of this throughout throughout the company, as there aren't that many people, and as well they're not creating that customer connection once again to that age group. So how we plan to fix that is to the fact that we want that to be a main focus in our budget, making that a huge focus in increasing the staffing, as well as promoting that through our marketing strategies, as well as creating customer and staff surveys again for this issue, so we can able to have a conversation with both sides, see what they can do better to increase both sides, as well as overall just increasing the staff. We'd like to triple the staff and overall make sure that every single person in that agency, in that group is covered.
The final thing that we'll be talking about is the budget. As you can see in the Flipbook is a more in-depth analysis about the budget that we have in the paper specifically, but on these slides we have the big 5 bullet points on there. The first one is the staffing cost. We're gonna be bringing in 15 interns across 1 year, which will cost about, I think it's like $78,000 to do that, because we'll have 15 interns with 5 interns every 4 months, so that we can give interns job opportunities throughout their time during Shepard Insurance. This will help increase the personnel and the retirement aspect, and it can also increase the millennial viewpoint for the social media aspect to try to reach out and hit that demographic of 13 to 23. The next one is the marketing costs. We're wanting to implement a lot more marketing throughout their category. Their lack of social media has caused for an issue for them, because they're not on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn. They really only have their website as their online brand presence. They need to implement different opportunities for them, and that's why this cost is so high, by implementing either commercials, radio commercials, anything that they can do to build up that reputation for them online, and then also word of mouth. Overall, this will cost about $375,000 up to $385,000 after implementing all the strategies that we've talked about in the paper, and then also throughout the presentation that we just talked about.
As far as their final rankings go, for their overall reputation, like I said, with satisfied short-term customers, long-term customers, and all their employees, their word of mouth is going to increase a lot. And so what this is going to do overall, over the entire community, Shepard Insurance will be looked up to. And as far as their online brand presence goes, after implementing our strategies, they will be using all of those different platforms of social media we talked about and running ads on every single one of them. You won't be able to go online without seeing Shepard Insurance.
So we thank you for taking time your day to listen to us to see how we can benefit the company moving forward. Do you have any questions?